Rocket City, baby. What a win for Huntsville, Alabama yesterday. Even though you got the idiots out there saying now, Alabama, how we're going to build rockets there. Anyway, I'll tell you how to deal with those people. Also, the UK is insane. And I'll go so far as to say this, and now it's time to actually say this. Don't ever go there. You can't. You just can't do that. You can't go to the UK. And we have to rethink about our most favored nation status and our brother in history, the UK. No, not until you figure things out over there, because what they are doing now is not. It got worse than arresting people who are flying their own flag. It actually got worse somehow. That's insane. And speaking of getting worse, the city of Chicago was never going to get better without federal help. You need to understand this. And the governor and now the mayor are blaming other states for their own crime problem. It's just insane. There's a lot to go through. But first of all, welcome to Midweek. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you as always. Let me start this whole thing off. We'll get into all that, but let me start this whole thing off with some, I guess, I don't know, behind-the-scenes news, personal news, technological news. Who the heck knows? I want to be the first to tell you I have won my months-long battle with Mark Zuckerberg. I have won. Okay, not personally, but I finally got Meta, Facebook, all that crap, to finally let me call the podcast live stream Wicked Radio. Finally. This means one thing. Across all channels, it doesn't matter. YouTube, Facebook, X, all your audio podcast platforms, wherever you find Wicked Radio with Bill Adams, that's where you'll find me. It's just peace of mind. For whatever reason, for months they wouldn't let me call it that, so I had to call it something else. But just for peace of mind, I can call it all the same thing now for consistency. Maybe I'm more OCD than I thought I was. And the other piece of news is, God willing, fingers and toes crossed, if the algorithm and the wind is with me, we're live for the first time ever right now as well, and on replay on Rumble. That took a long time too, so that is scheduled to be on right now. So if you like the Rumble video channel, it's on right now. And welcome, Rumble people. If you're not familiar with what we do here, I like to take the news, current events of the day, and help you handle it, because it's insane usually. But thanks for being here. Welcome to Midweek. You made it this far, and also you audio podcast listeners for the downloads and subscribes. Appreciate you as always. Let's get right to it. Rocket City, baby. What a great name. And Trump, of course, being a marketer, took that Rocket City label and embraced it with both arms, and there's probably going to be T-shirts available right now. I'd buy one, but anyway, here was the announcement from the White House just yesterday.
So I want to thank you all for being here for this important announcement, 7 years in the making. As you know, this has been going on for a long period of time, and I am thrilled to report that the U.S. Space Command headquarters will move to the beautiful locale of a place called Huntsville, Alabama, forever to be known from this point forward as Rocket City.
I love the marketing angle of that entire thing. And only Trump could introduce it that way. A little locale in the southern part of the U.S. called Huntsville, Alabama. I love it. Oh, and I've already heard the comments already today, from yesterday into today. This is amazing. It's amazing how viral it goes online. Of all the Trump derangement syndrome idiots saying, Alabama, what are we going to have? Rednecks building rockets? Here's how you handle those people today, okay? Here's how you handle that. Because at work or maybe with the family, you're going to hear that somewhere, somehow. Here's how you handle those people. No, actually, there's a long and storied tradition of rocket building and technology in Huntsville, Alabama. In fact, going way back to the Apollo program, that's where they built the Saturn rockets. And this is very important. This is how you end the conversation. You frickin' moron. Okay? That's how you handle those people. But anyway, good news for Huntsville, Alabama. It was going to be in Colorado. Biden tried to... Now, the buildings... I know this personally. I know somebody actually works and lives there, believe it or not. Huntsville, Alabama had the space program, buildings all set, the Texas. So this is going to be a very quick transition because they already made a lot of progress from the first term. Of course, Biden gets in there and he moves it to Colorado with very little progress, by the way. So the move is going to happen. It's going to happen very quickly, and good for Huntsville, Alabama. Good. It's where it actually should be. And then he started talking about the Golden Dome coming out of this as well. This is another one of the criticisms that happened. Why do we even have a Space Force? You remember that day in the White House when he announced Space Force and they all mocked it and they said, this is ridiculous. It looks like a comic cartoon. Pete Hegseth, Defense Secretary, explained it very well yesterday. Mock it all you want. These are my words, not his. Mock it all you want, but those who control the skies and near space control the future of the world. It's a fact. So once again, like the people making fun of Huntsville, Alabama, becoming the home of Space Force, once again, in their endless ignorance, they made fun of the space program in general. Well, even Canada wants the Golden Dome now. But the very first question out of the box at the White House press conference yesterday was from Peter Doocy. Only Peter Doocy could get away with asking this because obviously Trump likes him and he knows his dad. Doocy asks him directly. This is the only part of the press conference yesterday that got my attention, and I actually turned around and looked at the TV and laughed. He asked him about the online viral reports that Trump had died. Only Peter Doocy could ask it this way.
They got it. Peter?
President Trump, something completely different, but about a big viral social media trend over the weekend. How did you find out over the weekend that you were dead? You see that?
No.
People didn't see it for a couple days. 1.3 million user engagements as of Saturday morning about your demise.
Really? I
Yeah,
didn't see
yeah.
that. I have heard it's sort of crazy, but last week I did numerous news conferences, all successful. They went very well, like this is going very well. And then I didn't do any for 2 days, and they said there must be something wrong with him. Biden wouldn't do them for months. You wouldn't see him, and nobody.
How about, first of all, Trump, the perfect response, Biden doing it. I thought Trump was actually going to say there at one point, I thought Biden actually may be dead. At least brain dead anyway, but he didn't say that. But Peter Doocy, how about the question? What's your reaction to, and it was like he was ready to show him the phone. What's your reaction to reports that you were dead? I don't know if any other reporter could have gotten away with that. They would have gotten thrown out of there. But anyway, that actually happened. The TDS sufferers, that would be Trump derangement syndrome, they actually, over the weekend, we talked about this a little bit yesterday, they actually whipped themselves up into a fantasy. This is how they work, which tells you it is mental illness, that Trump hadn't been seen for a couple of days, so he had actually passed. And they were rooting for it. And they were actually rooting for it. These are just, they're just sick. They're absolutely sick. I don't know. I know a lot of people, I think I would have to put myself in that category, that were not exactly big fans of Joe Biden. Never once during that whole administration did I wish he was dead. I really didn't. Because he's still the president. Here's the difference. You, being a normal common sense person, you can see the difference. It's like if you got invited to the White House, if it was Biden, right? If you won a championship, you did something great. Absolutely, I'd go there to respect the office. Not them. No. Absolutely not. Trump, he's not my president. You know, those people of that mindset, they actually were so excited about the fact that maybe the president was gone they started to believe it. What are the chances it was a massive hoax from the other side? Like whoever started that viral rumor. What if they were being hoaxed by like MAGA people? There's a strong possibility it actually happened to like test their mental capability. I don't know. Speaking of things getting worse, city of Chicago, as predicted, we could all see this coming a mile away, but they didn't. The next crime crackdown is coming to the Windy City. Now, they know this. The politicians know this. And now even the governor is involved. So Governor Pritzker there did they're trying to run interference on this, and they're trying to get ahead of the narrative on this. So they're inviting all of their news partners to explain how crime's not bad. Well, what crime? You know, that crime thing, well, it's a big city, so you got to deal with it. But those red states, this is their angle now. They're blaming the red states. In fact, the mayor, Brandon Johnson of Chicago, came out and said that, well, our gun problem is actually because the red states have a gun problem. Zero, even now, when the whole world recognizes that Chicago is a crime-ridden cesspool, even now they won't accept responsibility. Here was the governor just yesterday. Listen to the deflection and the projection.
You're going to hear people, especially this past weekend, 54 shot, 7 dead.
Yeah.
They're going to say the city's not safe. Would you ask your friends to ride the L after midnight or after, 9 o'clock at night even to come down to the city from O'Hare?
Look, big cities have crime. There's no doubt about it. But let's just pay attention to what President Trump is doing targeting Chicago. He's overlooking.
Even now. So here's the situation. You're the governor of that state. He and the mayor of Chicago itself, you know it's happening. It's confirmed it's coming. The White House, the administration has told you they're coming in. Just like Washington, D.C., which worked, by the way, and the residents love it. The feds are coming in to clean up the city because you refused to do it. Even though that's happening, They will not take any responsibility. They will not do it. So all they're trying to do now is brush it off and try to tell everybody in their base that, well, it's not our fault. Well, violent murders, well, it's just, that's life in the big city. But what you got to do is look what Trump is doing. It's just absolutely pathetic. And if that bothers you, especially if you happen to be from or you live in Chicago or anywhere in Illinois, even though that's bad, here's the good news. You know it's been bad. You've seen it get worse. It's probably why you left there, maybe. But everybody's aware of it now, and so few people buy that line that he tried to sell yesterday. Well, crime, murders in a big city, it just happens, But Trump, you got to pay attention to Trump. So few people buy that crap anymore that it's bound to turn around. Not good at predictions, but I think we can see a trend on this one. Like with Washington, D.C., how did it happen? They all made fun of it at first, and then they called Trump a dictator. You can't have the feds in here and taking over, and you can't. Now, that was the politicians, the leaders of that city, the talking heads in the media. All of them said that until one thing happened. What changed? All of the videos started coming out of Washington, D.C. residents, many of them happen to be black, who were saying, yeah, things are better now. Things are absolute. Crime is down. I don't have to watch my back walking to work anymore or coming home from school. Once those videos release, once you start to hear from the real people who are affected by this, the real people who are basically trapped in these crime-ridden cesspools, once you start to hear from them, they shut right up. My prediction is, I think the same thing's going to happen in Chicago. I really do. It started with them. It started with the governor and the mayor saying, well, not that bad. We don't need this. It's not bad. And then the talking heads are already out right now saying this is just a tyrannical takeover. This is just and they blah, 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 and they'll go on and on and on. Wait till you start to hear from the Chicago residents. Some of them, you can find some of the videos already. So street interviews of people saying, yeah, we need it here. This is a disaster. Once crime starts to crack down there and things get better and they start talking, that's when the politicians and the talking heads in the media will shut the hell up. And then it'll be the next city. Then the next city after that for a crime crackdown. I don't know where would L.A. He's mentioned L.A. a few times. Maybe like a city like Philly. I don't know, but it's happening and it's working because they know they have the support of real people who live in those cities. So good, let it happen. All right, we gotta wrap this one up today with something that I'm dead serious about this, but we're gonna make fun of it anyway. The UK, the United Kingdom, has gone off the deep end. They are absolutely, completely insane. And you want to talk about, like with Chicago, people trapped in that community, in that society? Holy crap. Now, it was crazy during the week. Now, this past weekend, it was our Labor Day weekend, but it was a Fly the Colors weekend, I guess. You see all these people raising the King George flag, and they were, trying to get their rights back and push back against this two-tier justice system, and the immigrants to their country can get away with whatever they want, but they're arresting them. We had the story of the lady who was arrested on the spot, on camera, for raising her country's flag. I mean, that's insane, as we all know. Unbelievably, it got worse. Every once in a while, stories have floated out of the UK about this. Is just, you talk about censorship. It's insane how they've gone. I mean, just, you can't say, you can't tweet, or post, or repost, or make a meme of the wrong thing. They will arrest you. This is not hyperbole. I'm not making this up. They actually happened, and it happened. It's been happening, but now it happened in a big way. So there's a comedian writer who this recently happened to, and his name is Graham Linehan. So he's also a writer on a show called Father Ted. Okay? He was arrested coming back to Heathrow Airport. I guess he lives in the States now. And this is him writing. Writing about the story. In a country where pedophiles escape sentencing, where knife crime is out of control, where women are assaulted and harassed, every time they gather to speak, the state had mobilized 5 armed officers to arrest a comedy writer. And he's referring to himself. That actually happened. And by the way, a condition of his release. This is really the crux of the issue, and what it's all about is free speech, which they don't have. A condition is one single bail condition is that he does not go on X, the free speech platform, to talk about his entire thing. So he had to write this on Substack. What was his crime? He had written posts that were critical of transgender favoritism, and being funny about it. In fact, here's one of the posts that he wrote that was on X that got him in trouble. This is from Graham Linehan. This apparently was the one that put it over the edge, and they felt they had to arrest him with armed security over this. If a trans-identified male is in a female-only space, he is committing a violent, abusive act. Make a scene, call the cops, and if all else fails, punch him in the balls. That's pretty awesome, actually. Now, that's insane. I get it, but he's got a lot of support, obviously, and that kind of leads into what we're talking about here. With this much attention to this, sometimes it actually does take somebody that's of celebrity status to get some change. He's got some support in an organization called the Free Speech Union. I guess they're paying his legal bills and they're fighting for the cause or whatever. Here's an interview with the Free Speech Union guy on BBC Radio yesterday.
Things do seem to be getting progressively worse. And also it leaves out the comic dimension. When Graham saw that he was being met by 5 armed police officers as he came through immigration at Heathrow, he burst out laughing. And there is something comical in the sheer overreach of arresting a middle-aged, not particularly in great shape, British comedian.
But that's where we are. And as insane as that is, it's actually good news that it happened. I mean, it sucks for him, obviously, unless he's probably smart enough to turn this into a good career move for himself. But anyway, when normal, regular, unknown people get arrested for this kind of stuff, which has been happening now for quite some time, not a lot changes. So much attention, especially over there, obviously, has been given to this. This may, they got a long way to go, but may be the spark to turn things around. Because that's insane. I mean, that's crazy. Tyranny, that's what that is. That is a censorship, tyrannical government they have right now. You can't even think the wrong thing. Now, I hear it all the time over here. Yeah, but that would never happen here. Are you kidding? Really? It almost happened here. You might remember not too long ago, not very long ago at all, 2 years ago, where the previous administration had developed a misinformation czar. Remember her? A misinformation czar. Under the guise of cracking down on stuff that was posted or reported on or videotaped and put out online, especially on X, that they deemed was misinformation. Here's the problem. It was deemed as stuff that they disagreed with. That's how close. And that information czar would have had a lot of power if things had turned out differently in our country this past November. It almost happened here. And if we don't keep an eye on this stuff, it could again. Now, here's the other thing. How can we possibly, as a nation, be best friends with, we have a shared history. It's most favored nation status with the UK. And how come we can't do that? I'm sorry. You can't be friends with a country that treats its citizens like that. You absolutely can't do it. And maybe it does take pressure from us to be able to change things and to jump in a little bit, even though we're trying to take care of our own affairs over here. You can't do that. Because to be friends with a nation like that is to say, my best friend Bob, he's not a nice guy, but we've been best friends since kids, and I'll always be best friends and loyal to him, even though he beats his kids. No, you can't do that. You can't. Otherwise, the citizens who are trapped there are going to suffer through this forever, and it'll never change. And here's the other thing. And I mean this, and this sounds like hyperbole, but I mean it. Until things change, and hopefully they do, they got a long way to go. And quite frankly, the odds are against them over there in the UK. Don't ever go there. You'd be crazy to go to that country now. Number one, I don't want to support economically at all that place. It's like taking a cruise to Cuba. No, I'm not going to support that government. There's no possible way. And the other thing is a more immediate danger to it. You think I would go over there? If you do go, don't post anything. My God, me, as big a mouth as I have, I couldn't ever go to that place. Well, that wouldn't affect you. You're a U.S. citizen. Are you insane? They do that to their own people. What do you think they would do to me or you? No, not doing it. Well, you've won a 2-week vacation to London. Nah, thanks. I'll take the cash payout. I'm not doing it. That's freaking nuts. But again, what's the takeaway? The good news is sometimes it takes things to get so crazy to turn things around. I hope they do. I really do. We should root for the UK. We really should. But that, no, that's insane. I wouldn't go there. I really wouldn't. All right, so that's your main takeaway. I got to wrap this up. I'm out of material, and you got to get on with your midweek. Make it a wicked awesome Wednesday. Thanks for being here, as always. Again, great news, the big win, Wicked Radio live stream or podcast. Wherever you find that, on X, it's Wicked Bill Adams. You can find it there. And hopefully everything worked out on Rumble today. The first day it's been on Rumble. That took a while, too, but it's all right here. Thanks for being with me. I appreciate you, as always. Who the heck knows what's going to be in the news tomorrow, but I'm sure there's something we can make fun of and share some ideas on how to deal with it. Have a wicked awesome Wednesday. I will talk to you tomorrow.